On World News Tonight this Monday, out of the impeachment battle and into the drug war, how Mexican traffickers are winning that war. Americans' pilots get healthy in a hurry. Can the airline recover as quickly? Outsmarting nature, predicting disasters before they actually happen. We'll take a closer look. And this kid can play, but can he live up to expectations that go beyond basketball?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Connie Chung.
Good evening. The Senate has decided that President Clinton gets to keep his job, and today he went about doing it. Mr. Clinton went to Mexico to discuss trade and the flood of illegal drugs that comes to the U.S. through Mexico. An estimated 2/3 of all the illegal drugs that enter the U.S. come over the border between the two nations. There was also time in the president's day for politics, not regarding his plans, but those of the First Lady. ABC's Sam Donaldson is in Merida.
Connie, there's no better way for a president to change the subject than to take a trip. But on this one to Mexico, President Clinton got a little added help. His scandalous past was all but swept aside by a flurry of speculation about his wife's political future. The atmosphere was cordial as President Clinton and Mexican President Ernesto Zedillo met to talk about some important bilateral issues. The two sides signed several minor agreements. But the big question is whether in fighting the war on drugs, Mexico has cooperated enough to warrant continued full U.S. aid for another year. Mr. Clinton all but said he thinks the answer is yes.
We have increased our cooperation. Mexico should not be penalized for having the courage to confront its problems.
But even as the presidents and their wives stood together to take the applause, the star attraction was clearly the U.S. First Lady, and whether she will indeed run for the Senate from New York, as so many Democrats are urging. Her private schedule here kept her away from the press, but with senior White House aides stoking the speculation this weekend, her husband seemed to relish taking the question about his wife's future.
I think she would be terrific in the Senate, but that's a decision that she'll have to make, and I will support whatever decision she makes enthusiastically. She and I both would like to continue to be useful in public affairs when we leave office.
Harlem Democratic Congressman Charles Rangel is enthusiastic.
But if it's talking about no primary, having the money, the political structure, she's a winner.
When does she have to make up her mind?
I don't know, but it has to be soon.
Rangel won't define the time frame for Mrs. Clinton's decision beyond soon. As for the decision on whether to recertify Mexico as cooperating in the war on drugs, that time frame is known. The administration must notify Congress by March 1st, and Congress then has 30 days in which to vote it down if it chooses. Connie?
Sam Donaldson. A short distance from where the two leaders were talking about the drug war today, Mexican traffickers have opened up a whole new front. ABC's Deborah Amos reports tonight from Cancun.
Not far from the tourist resorts of southern Mexico, there is a new route for massive amounts of drugs. Cocaine is shuttled from Colombia through Central America to the Yucatan Peninsula, then on to the U.S. border.
This is the reason that the Yucatan is the gateway for drugs. Miles of unattended beaches and islands where boats can drop off their illegal cargo. Some 5 tons a week of drugs, including cocaine, according to one Mexican estimate. Almost all of it is headed for the U.S. market.
None of these traffickers can operate without at least the permission of the governor.
This is the local governor here. U.S. and Mexican investigators believe he's paid to protect Mexico's most powerful cartel.
Are you still under investigation now?
Yes, yes. Yo quiero estar tranquilo. I'm clean, and I prefer that they keep investigating.
Mexico is trying to close the new route with Navy patrols and 15,000 anti-drug agents. They've seized some drugs and these Cancun hotels and businesses, which they say belong to the traffickers, but they haven't arrested the traffickers themselves.
They are going to find one way or another, as long as the drug trafficking and the drug business is a very good business.
Pues la ruta de la droga.
Mexico needs a spectacular arrest now before the annual congressional hearings on cooperation in the drug war. The recent record has been bleak. Overall, drug seizures and arrests are down. Some joint U.S.-Mexican investigations have been compromised by corruption in the Army, police, and even in new elite drug units.
In terms of intentions and goodwill at the highest level, I'd give it an A-. In terms of practical outcomes, I'd give it probably a C+.
But Congress, interested in results rather than intentions, may well give Mexico a failing grade this year. Deborah Amos, ABC News, Cancun, Mexico.
It's been a very tense day for the U.S. and Iraq. For the first time in years, Iraq threatened today to attack the major American air base in Turkey. That's the base for most of the warplanes that have been bombing Iraq on an almost daily basis lately. The Pentagon said U.S. planes attacked 2 more air defense sites in northern Iraq today and 4 others in the south. American Airlines is flying again today. It took 10 days and the threat of a $10 million fine to get pilots at the country's second biggest airline back to work. ABC's Ron Claiborne reports from Miami.
Most of the American pilots whose sick out had crippled the airline felt a lot better today. The number of pilots on the daily sick list is now approaching normal, so American was able to get 90% of its flights off the ground.
Well, I expected my flight would be canceled. However, to my surprise, it's flying on time.
Here at Miami Airport and at American Airlines' other major hubs, there were few flight cancellations today and short lines at the ticket counters. The airline predicted that by Tuesday, there should be almost normal service throughout the system. Some industry analysts say American will have to take major steps, including deep fare discounts, to win back passengers.
Appreciate your patience.
Many of whom lost entire vacations.
Some people will forget if American comes out with some very low fares to good destinations. There are people out there who will never forget this and who will never fly American again.
American's pilots only returned to work because their union was threatened by a federal court judge in Texas with a fine of at least $10 million for violating his back-to-work order.
Obviously all the pilots are going to comply with the judge's ruling.
The damage award could go even higher, but still won't come close to covering the $50 million that American Airlines says it lost during the pilots' job action. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Miami.
NASA has taken a rather extraordinary step to deal with the shortage of funding and spare parts in the shuttle program. As ABC's Bob Jameson reports, the space agency seems to have found the answer in, of all places, a museum.
The problem was with the shuttle's solid rocket boosters. Those are the rockets that drive the shuttle from its launch pad to the edge of the atmosphere and then separate, parachuting into the ocean. NASA recovers the boosters and reuses them on other missions. But more have been lost or damaged than expected, and NASA faced the shortage of a key component. The solution was found here, of all places, the U.S. Space and Rocket Museum, just a few short miles from NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. The shuttle on exhibit includes 2 genuine full-size rocket boosters. NASA will now reclaim them.
We knew they were real, and that was part of the specialness of the display, having the items that had really been in space and utilized.
The museum exhibit has turned out to be crucial for NASA. The important forward part of the booster that carries electronics, jettison rockets, and parachute controls isn't even made anymore. It would take 3 years and as much as $10 million for NASA to open a production line and build just 2 of them. But now taxpayers will save plenty.
Our estimated cost of refurbishing these is on the order of $100,000 to $200,000.
Work to dismantle this exhibit begins next week, and NASA says it will then have enough parts to keep shuttles flying for at least the next decade. Bob Jameson, ABC News, New York.
When we come back, giant strides. Paralyzed on the football field 7 years ago, today back on his feet. And knowing where and how disaster will strike, a revolution in forecasting.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of smokers have quit with Nicoderm CQ. Why? Because it helps calm your cravings with 3 steps to help bring you closer to your goal. And with Nicoderm CQ, you don't have to take some new drug or wait to get a prescription from the doctor. After all, you want to quit smoking, not make an appointment to quit smoking. Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
We're picking up our CEO.
Fortunately, the company cars have OnStar.
We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off.
There was a deer.
I never saw it.
Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, I just got a signal, your airbags went off, should I send an ambulance?
We were fine, but she called for a tow truck and a limo.
Good thing I called OnStar.
OnStar called us.
Oh, right.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
The party's in there, so why am I out here? Gas. Again.
Maximum Strength Phazyme has 33% more medicine doctors recommend.
One little pill, and I'm back.
Serious medicine for serious gas. Phazyme.
Whisk presents the 10 million thousand things we have to do every day. Then we still have to do the laundry really well. Fortunately, Whisk has a targeted cleaning system. To do it once, do it right.
Have you seen these specialized blends of herbs, vitamins, and minerals from One A Day for things like tension and memory? 9G? No. So the next time life is pulling you in different directions, help your body help itself with One A Day specialized blends. They're just what you need to feel your best.
On the money tonight, bartering is back. More and more companies say trading for some items is cheaper than buying them for cash. According to a new study, about a third of small businesses and nearly two-thirds of Fortune 500 companies engage in barter. $8 billion worth a year. California's wine grape harvest this year was the second largest on record. Growers had been worried because torrential rains caused by El Nino had delayed the harvest about a month. In Phoenix today, a former pro football player did something the doctors told him he'd never do again. Mike Utley took the first steps in a journey back from paralysis. ABC's Brian Rooney reports.
It was not easy for him to do. It was even difficult to watch. But with help, Mike Utley took a few halting steps today.
Nice. One more time.
At 6'6", 315 pounds, Utley was an offensive lineman with the Detroit Lions. Playing against the Los Angeles Rams in 1991, he crushed two vertebrae, leaving him a quadriplegic.
I knew I was in some serious trouble.
But Utley left the field giving the thumbs up. He approached paralysis as if he were still getting ready for a football game.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome.
He even took up skiing. Utley also started his own foundation and became an advocate for people with spinal cord injuries.
If you take any longer, man, I'm going to get old.
I want to walk again. I want to be able to make a difference in one day. Find a cure for paralysis, to cure every little kid. Make a difference in their life.
Doctors describe Utley's injury as incomplete. His spinal cord was not entirely severed, so he was expected to have some feeling and function in his lower body, according to one doctor who treated him.
He has made the absolute most of what neurologic recovery he's been able to get back. And that's the key to Mike's success. He will make the most of what he has.
I'm not saying everyone will get as far as I've gotten, but they can do something today they didn't do yesterday.
What Mike Utley did today is not a medical miracle, but it is a feat of determination. Brian Rooney, ABC News.
One of the key figures in the Watergate scandal has died. John Ehrlichman was Richard Nixon's domestic affairs advisor. He was convicted of obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and perjury in the attempted cover-up of the Watergate break-in and served 18 months in prison. Ehrlichman had been suffering from diabetes. He was 73. In a moment, solving the weather mystery, knowing where disasters will strike. We'll take a closer look.
I've never seen anything like Pergo.
It's a great concept in flooring.
It's very beautiful because it does look like the natural wood.
It's very simple to install.
You can have it done in basically a weekend.
It has a triple warranty against fading, stain, and wear.
Pergo is made to float over an existing floor.
You can even put Pergo over tile. It's that versatile.
It's beautiful as well as practical, and it's at a great price.
Very excited to have Pergo in my department and with Home Depot.
You'll find Pergo at the guaranteed low price every day at the Home Depot.
When I take a liquid antacid, I feel like, ugh.
It's like liquid chalk.
I'm not crazy about any of them.
If you had something that tastes better, I mean, it would be a joy.
Introducing new fast-acting Mylanta Supreme.
What makes it supreme? Wow.
Oh, that's good. I'm not kidding.
Very light. Yeah, it tastes like a dessert.
It's the only liquid antacid with no chemical preservatives.
It doesn't taste like medicine, I'll tell you.
It's actually helping my indigestion now.
Supreme relief. Taste it for yourself.
Can I have some more?
There are a few things you need to do to make your home safe for you and your family. Like setting your water heater at 120 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent burns, and installing smoke alarms outside of bedrooms. If your home was built before 1978, have it tested for lead-based paints. Did I mention proper wiring?
For a free brochure on HUD's Healthy Homes and to learn how an FHA loan can help you buy a home, just call.
HUD and FHA are on your side.
Passport. Your Pop-Tarts. You think I was born yesterday? Out of the car.
New Pop-Tarts Pastry Swirls. Round, iced, and deliciously flaky. They're like no Pop-Tarts you've ever seen.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts, right.
Introducing A&D personal care products for bladder leakage, soothing dry lotion and cleansing towelettes, made to capture and eliminate urine odor and soothe irritated skin.
You'll feel fresh, clean, and odor-free all day.
New A&D personal care.
This week we're taking a closer look at the revolution in forecasting. It was Mark Twain who said that everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it. While we still may not be able to control nature, we have unlocked many of its mysteries. Weather and other natural disasters claimed 32,000 lives last year, and the financial cost is staggering, an estimated $1 billion a week in the U.S. alone. But ABC's Ned Potter reports knowing where and how these disasters strike before they strike might make all the difference.
Hurricane Andrew, Florida, 1992. The costliest disaster in American history.
Prepare yourselves!
The San Francisco earthquake, 1989. $7 billion damage. Tornado, Jarrell, Texas, 1997. A town level. In disasters such as these, the forces of nature seem so random, so mysterious. It's going to be okay. But insurance companies cannot afford mystery since they pay for a lot of the damage. Hurricane Andrew cost $16 billion, and in its wake, 12 insurance firms went bankrupt since they had never thought they would have to save up for such carnage.
The loss estimates that were generated by the old methods were off tremendously.
So a whole new science has now been born, computer modeling to show with stunning accuracy where the risk is greatest, of hurricanes, of tornadoes, of earthquakes.
It's really a revolution in people's perception of natural catastrophes, from something very unknown and scary to something that can be quantified and managed.
Engineers chart the strength and location of every storm, every quake, every flood of the last century. They combine it with current data on where people live and in what kinds of structures. Some programs can rate the risk on a house-by-house basis. They cannot forecast a disaster, but they can tell you your chance of being in one.
I imagine it's how people felt when they first developed eyeglasses, and all of a sudden you could have a much clearer picture of what was in front of you.
The picture shows that the single riskiest place in America to live is Kodiak Island, Alaska, which has been shaken repeatedly by earthquakes. For tornadoes, the risk is highest in Noble County, Oklahoma. For hurricanes, in the Florida Keys. They've even calculated the worst area for lightning strikes. But insurance companies worry more about such places as Los Angeles, where you'll find fewer disasters, but $1.5 trillion worth of insured property. Remember the quake there in 1994. How might the new technology change your life? For one thing, emergency relief teams will know where to expect disasters long before they hit. Builders will know if a new house needs to be made of materials that can survive a storm. And insurance rates may be much more specific for your location.
Those people right on the beach, they're more risky. How much more risky we can quantify, they will pay higher premiums. People inland will pay lower premiums.
Obviously, the computer is not perfect. Nature is still powerful beyond our imagining. But now it is a lot less random than we once thought. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
Some weather disasters are not even of this world. They happen in space. Solar activity can have an enormous impact on Earth. So how exactly do you go about forecasting space weather?
Forecast for the next 24 hours. Solar activity will be very low.
Using powerful telescopes and satellites aimed at the sun, scientists at the Space and Environment Center in Colorado can predict with reasonable accuracy when enormous storms on the surface of the sun will unleash massive amounts of destructive particles towards the Earth, called solar wind.
Satellites can be dramatically impacted depending upon the severity of the space weather. Communications from those satellites to the ground can be impacted.
Cell phone service, for example, could be knocked out. Television could be disrupted. But with advance warning, satellites can be repositioned or backups used, resulting in little or no loss of service. In 1989, solar activity caused a power failure, affecting 6 million people in the Canadian province of Quebec. Space weather forecasting could have made a difference.
They basically will have advanced information of about an hour where they might be able to shift some loads, bring up some other power.
As technology advances, many more of us will have to worry about the weather. 90 million miles away. Tomorrow, how would you like to know what the weather will be like in your own backyard? 2 days from now, the new computer forecast. When we come back, faith in the game.
He's the goods, and he's always been the goods. What's been hard for people to believe is, how could he be the goods?
The pressures of the game, and much, much more.
I work for a dermatologist. For psoriasis and eczema, she recommends Cordate Intensive Therapy. Its powerful medicine stops the itch and helps you heal fast. And patients prefer Cordate over Cortisone 10. Cordate Intensive Therapy. Doctor recommended, patient preferred.
Put on your best suit. You are cordially invited to Lobster Fest at Red Lobster. Indulge in all of your lobster favorites at the most casual prices of the year. Escape to Red Lobster for Lobster Fest today.
When blue highways beckon, answer the call in the quick, agile DeVille. With standard traction control and the power of the North Star system, you're in charge. And there's never been a better time. Because right now, the 1999 DeVille is only $4.99 a month. DeVille, for the time of your life. At your Cadillac dealer.
It's real milk chocolate, chewy caramel, and crunchy nuggets in a scrumptiously delicious bar. Fortified with antioxidants, bone-building calcium, and essential protein. The delicious, nutritious Boost Bar. Get your recommended daily allowance of chocolate crunch. Find it next to Boost.
3 minutes from now, a heart attack victim will be rushed into this emergency room. Medication will be injected. IV fluids will be needed. The patient will be protected from infection. Breathing will be assisted. And one more life will be saved.
Mrs. Hanson? Yes. Hi, I'm Dr. Moore. Her husband's doing fine. Oh, I'm so glad.
Thanks to advanced medical techniques and a material we call plastic.
You didn't save me any?
It wasn't enough.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal Squares. Crunchy whole grain squares with a hint of brown sugar. You haven't wanted a cereal this badly since you were a kid.
We ease life's pressures. We help bring people back to life. We take care of best friends. We're the people of Pfizer. We develop medicines that make the world a better place. We spend over $2 billion a year on research. That's why we believe we'll introduce more new medicines for more diseases than anyone else. We're not just looking for cures, we're going to find them. Pfizer. Life is our life's work.
And finally tonight, faith, family, and a wicked jump shot. Outside Baltimore these days, there's a young man who's attracted an enormous amount of attention. Talk radio, newspapers, magazines. It's the kind of pressure a lot of star student athletes deal with. But not many have to deal with quite the same pressures as this young man. In Maryland, here's ABC's Aaron Brown.
The first thing you need to know about Tamir Goodman, the spindly red-headed kid with the yarmulke, is that he can flat out play with the best of them, which is why he's being chased by some of the best basketball colleges in the country.
He's the best player in Baltimore City.
Paul Baker is a former NBA scout.
He sees the entire floor. He thinks team instead of me. And he's also a great shooter. He's what I call a throwback.
Since he was very young, he's been coached by Harold Katz.
Nothing's different from when you were 10 years old. Just close your eyes and do it.
Who wondered from the beginning if he had the skills to coach such a special talent.
He's the goods, and he's always been the goods. What's been hard for people to believe is, how could he be the goods?
And people wonder that because of this. Tamir is an Orthodox Jew and plays ball for a small, ultra-Orthodox Jewish school in suburban Baltimore, a school where basketball is hardly a priority.
I want to be the best basketball player I could be, at the same time be a God-fearing Jew. There's no conflict there.
That's not exactly true. There are conflicts and there are pressures. School runs 6 days a week, most days 11 hours long, not much time to play ball. And the pressures, well, he's expected to carry his teammates and much more.
I don't really feel the pressure, but it's said to me all the time, to be the great Jewish basketball player, be the great Jewish basketball player. That's what everyone's hoping.
That's why they call him JJ, the Jewish Jordan, and that's a lot to carry. The 17-year-old junior has accepted an offer to attend Basketball Power Maryland, and Maryland has accepted Tamir's refusal to play on the Jewish Sabbath, Friday night and Saturday. The school is already trying to reschedule some games, but not all conflicts can be resolved.
It's certainly possible that observance of a Torah lifestyle will keep him from achieving the ultimate goal, perhaps, in basketball. But so what? Life is much more important than that, and God is much more important than that.
When in a year he leaves for college, leaves his large and supportive family, his insular world with his ancient traditions, he will find out if he can be a top-flight college basketball player while remaining true to the rigorous demands of his faith. Aaron Brown, ABC News, Pikesville, Maryland.
And that's our report on World News Tonight. Later on 2020, a 31-year-old convicted felon poses as a 17-year-old high school student. How did he do it, and why? And don't forget Nightline. I'm Connie Chung for all of us at ABC News. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of the GO Network.
Millions have gotten caught up in the storm. Entertainment Weekly calls Storm of the Century a steamy winter thriller. TV Guide calls it mesmerizing. Linoge is one of King's greatest supernatural villains. This storm delivers shiver-inducing entertainment. Stephen King's Storm of the Century. ABC Tonight.